You feeling empty, you feeling like life should lead up to something more, you looking and craving for harmony in that chaos that naturally is life. That is the most human thing. That is the evidence that you are still human, you are still becoming. You exist in a state of perpetual potential, and that is what it means to be human. It means to exist in that state of potential, but we don't like it. In fact, the larger society has a problem with existing as a potential. In as much as that hunger that we feel, that hunger that you feel, that need for meaning and connection and so much more in life, for your experiences to make more sense. In as much as that feeling is human, the mistake that we make as persons is this: you are identifying with that feeling rather than identifying the feeling itself. Yeah, here's a common mistake that we all make. We identify with loss rather than identifying loss. And you should never identify with loss. You should never identify with anything negative. You address the problem, you identify the problem, but leave your identity to be exclusive from the problem. You don't want to be the big L. You never identify with loss. Do not identify with that emptiness that you feel, that need for completion that is human. Do not identify with it, but at the same time, acknowledge it and accept it as a part of yourself, because that is what it means to be human. It means to exist in a constant state of potential. It means to be empty and have so much more to give. Paradoxical, isn't it? It's like a paradox, a very sweet paradox. Honestly, being human means to be empty, but you have so much more to give. It's not a crime to be empty. Honestly, it's also not a crime to have so much to give. But when you are empty and that is all you are, and when you are giving and that is all you do, then there's something wrong somewhere. Because the irony of life is to be empty, but you have so much more to give. Here's why. You see, if you are constantly receiving, it means that you are starving. You are in need of something more. You are lacking in either one area of your life or the other. But then, if you are constantly giving and not receiving, it means that you are depleting. It means that you are forever empty. So the trick is to find that balance between the two. You should be empty, capable of receiving, but at the same time have so much to give. That is what makes the dance of life. And the dance of life, the dance of chaos, is about giving and receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. It's about being empty but having so much to give at the same time. That is the irony of life. There's really nothing wrong with that hunger that we feel. You see, it's one thing to feel that emptiness, feel that need for so much more in life, and so we go searching for something that was never missing in the first place. The reason why you should be empty and have so much to give is because you were never lacking in the first place. The reason why you should exist in a state of emptiness, in a state of readiness to receive, open-mindedness, adventurous, wide-eyed, curious towards life, but at the same time, you have so much wisdom, so much experience, so much to impact. The reason why is this: because you are not lacking in the first place. You do not want to identify as lacking. You do not want to identify as needing something or not having that thing. You don't, because you are never lacking in the first place. You are born wealthy. It is a game of awareness. It's a game of intentionality, honestly. It's one thing to feel empty. It's another thing to go searching for what is not missing in the first place. And a lot of us make that mistake in life. We go searching for what we think that we do not have, that which was not missing in the first place. But we are so convinced, because we feel empty, because we don't feel alright, because our life looks like it doesn't make sense, we cannot predict where it is adding up to. Something is wrong, something is missing. So we go searching for that is missing, for that we think is missing, but it's not really missing. It's really just there, right there. You just have to become aware of it. Have you ever felt that you lost something, but you never truly lost it in the first place? Yeah, have you ever truly lost something when searching for something, but it was not really lost, you just couldn't find it at that time? It's it's that thing that you do when you're looking for your car keys, but your car keys ended up being in your pocket, or when you're looking for your credit card, but then it's on the kitchen counter. Or that thing that happens, that very phenomenal, wonderful thing that happens when you're looking for your wallet that holds your credit card, and you're bringing down everything, lifting everything, looking into spaces that you typically would not look, but then your wallet ends up being in your car. Would you now say to yourself that you lost your wallet? No, no, you did not lose your wallet. You misplaced it. You forgot where it was. You thought that it was supposed to be somewhere. It was supposed to be in the house. And because it was not in the house, you felt that you lost it, and you went into panic, and you went into anxiety, and you went into that restless space that as humans we are fundamentally used to. Restlessness. As humans, we are fundamentally used to being restless all the time. It's looking for the next thing. It's looking for what we never lost in the first place. And that is the definition of the wealth problem. It's that sense of lack in our life. It's that sense of inadequacy because we expect things to look a certain way. Because we expect life to come out a certain way. We expect certain things from ourselves, but because we are not able to have those things, we are not able to be that person, you are not able to, things didn't turn out the way that you expect them to turn out. You assume that you've lost something. You need to have something, you need to prove something that you never lost in the first place, and you have nothing whatsoever to prove because you are already the wealthiest that you could ever be. Let's back up a little bit and talk about losing something that you never lost in the first place. A few hours ago, when I got up this morning, I found that I loaned a neighbor of mine a rechargeable torch that I used. So I woke up, brushed my teeth, did my basic things, and go get my torch back from my neighbor. So on my way back to my room, I thought to myself, oh, this nigga is not going to charge this thing. This thing is in charge. So I'm going to plug it into the power and just charge it. That was the thought I was having as I walked into my room. But then I walked into my room and got this idea and said, it's a very good Saturday morning. Let me talk to these fine people over the internet. Let's set up my space and just record one or two things, record this episode and just talk into the mic like a crazy person. So I did that. I set up my space, the light here, the light there, and I'm talking to you guys there. But in the midst of setting up the light and setting up my space to record this, a thought came in my head. Where is your rechargeable torch? Yeah, a thought just popped into my head. It was a question. Where is your rechargeable torch? Where is my rechargeable torch? I looked to the socket. It was not there. It was not plugged in. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked on the bed. It was not on the bed. I looked everywhere. I looked under the bed. I looked in the cupboard. I went into the kitchen. I went into the toilet. It was nowhere to be found. Then I started to panic. Then I started to question my own sanity, and I was like, am I mad? Did I go a little bit too far last night? Am I crazy? Did I really get my touch back from my neighbor? Or is something wrong? I opened my door and was like, okay, did I leave it in the corridor or something? Is it on the balcony? Like, where could it be? As I was pacing up and down my room looking into places that I typically would not look, like, what is your business with what is under your bed? Like, honestly, you have no business with the things under your bed. But in that moment, I was looking under my bed because I felt like I was losing something. I had lost my rechargeable torch. But in the midst of pacing up and down my room, I said to myself, I was like, okay, universe, you really just have to help me here. Where is my torch? Where is my torch? Help me. Then it dawned on me that it is only a problem if I make it a problem. Yeah, it's most things in life are only a problem when you make it a problem. So I decided from a place of intentionality to not make it a problem because it was not a problem. So I took my phone and went into my toilet to watch a movie. Yeah, I took my phone, went into my toilet, sat down on my toilet and watched the movie. In the midst of watching that movie, I realized where I had left my torch. Guess where it was? It was where it was supposed to be, which is hanging on the wall. There's a place on my wall where I just typically would just hang my torch. It that location kind of illuminates the whole room. It's a rechargeable torch anyway, so it kind of illuminates the whole room. When I walked through my door with the torch that morning, the first thing that I did was to hang it where it was supposed to be. I forgot to plug it into power. And because I did not plug it into power, because I expected it to be plugged to the light and it was not plugged to the light, I went into panic. I thought that I had lost it. I thought like the whole world was coming down. And then I went into searching for something that was not lost in the first place. A lot of us go into this frenzy, this temporary schizophrenia, where you think that there is something missing in your life because you are not able to conform to social pressure, meet up with your own false expectations of yourself. So you think that there is something wrong and there is something missing in your life, whereas there is not. You see, the world problem largely has its origin in the social definition of things. You see, somewhere along the line, society decided to define wealth as a very, very small thing and then define riches to be more than it actually is. And it got played before our very eyes. And it's quite ironic, really. It's laughable, honestly, especially when you do not know who you are. It's very laughable. You are not going to see these things. Have you noticed that on social media, when people define wealth, they talk about riches, they talk about assets, they talk about cars, they talk about portfolio. But when they describe riches, they talk about wealth. They talk about happiness. They talk about how this product is supposed to make you happy, how this is supposed to make you successful, how this is supposed to make you feel fulfilled. Have you noticed that trick that is being played before our very eyes? It's a very smart sleight of hand that's been played before our very eyes. Society decided to define wealth as a very, very, very small thing, but then blew up the definition of what it means to be rich. And it's really nobody's fault. Honestly, there's a reason why. You see, true wealth cannot be given because it was never lost in the first place. Yeah, that's the reason why. Wealth is fundamental and existential. The government cannot give you wealth. No brand can truly make you wealthy. No brand can truly make you happy. No brand can truly make you feel fulfilled. Nothing on the surface of this planet that can be given to you that can truly make you successful. The question is, what is the definition of success? And I'm getting off key here, but I'm going to define success for you. There was this book that I was reading. I liked how the author of that book defined success. I think it's the game called Life and How to Play It or something, but I just really liked how the author of that book defined success. He defines success as the attainment of a worthwhile goal, the attainment of a worthy goal. That is all. He did not say success is car, success is career, success is. He said success is the attainment of a worthy goal, a worthwhile goal. Who gets to define what is a worthwhile goal? Is it the society or the individual? Of course, the individual gets to define what is a worthwhile goal to him. What this means is that if you are not where you were 10 years ago, if you are not thinking the way that you thought 10 years ago, you are successful. You've attained something. If you are at least able to achieve a short-term goal, you are successful. You have attained something. But a lot of us do not define success this way. We define success every way that the society has come to define success as the attainment of something that riches is supposed to give you, and that is not true. And that is largely not true. The trick is being able to tell the difference between riches and wealth. Honestly, a lot of us don't sit down, stop in between that restlessness, that anxiety, that panic that we typically will go through as human beings, and really ask yourself, what is important to me? What is the true definition of this thing? Where is the origin of this word? What does this word really mean? A lot of us do not do that. You would know that wealth has its origin in an old English word, willa, meaning wellness or wholeness. Yeah, before doing this, I had no idea. But riches has something to do with power and authority. Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, riches has something to do with power. But in this modern day, how we define riches is this: having anything of monetary value, gold, cash, jewelries, that is riches. Because society cannot make anyone wealthy, cannot really give wealth. The only thing that society has to offer us is a perception of riches. The wealth problem is one that I had to deal with in my life. It came from a mindset of lack, a mindset of everything was going wrong in my life. Everything just didn't seem to make any sense in my life. I was always trying. I was always trying to fix things. I was always creating problem out of nothing, honestly. It was just a lot of anxiety towards life. It was just a lot of battling that chaos that is life itself. In fact, I wish long ago that someone drummed it into my head that chaos is part of life, and that's just a story for another day. We're going to talk about it much later. I'm getting to it. I was having a wealth problem. Honestly, I was not having a riches problem. I lived modestly. I was able to afford certain things that I needed, but then I was not able to afford the exact thing that I wanted. And because I was not able to afford the exact thing that I wanted, I thought that there was a problem. I was always trying harder, and felt like there was something missing in my life. I largely had a single mindset, a single mindedness to the way that I saw life, to the things that I expected from life and I expected from myself. And because of that mindset, I suffered. I was anxious all the time. I was stressed all the time. But when I took the time to pause and really just learn what the universe was trying to tell me, was trying to show me, one of the things that it did for me is this. It taught me that on your way to your destination is how you find the things that is more important than your destination. Yeah, the universe had to pause and really teach me this lesson, the meaning of this word. On your way to your destination is how you find the things that is more important than where you are going to. What this means is that the journey is just as important as the destination. You have to enjoy the journey. When you are not enjoying the journey, when you are not enjoying the ride that is called life, it means that you have a wealth problem. And largely, I was not enjoying the journey. I was not enjoying the destination called life. Yeah, I was not enjoying the destination to my goals, to my ambition, to my dreams, to attaining the things that I very well knew that I deserved. I was not enjoying not having them temporarily. I kept defining myself from a place of lack, from a place of not having, and I kept trying to mimic everything that I wanted for my life. And so therefore, because I came from a place of loss, I was always coming from one loss to the next loss, and it was fix one problem, create five more. Fix another problem, create 10 more. And that was basically my life. There was just a lot of chaos out of nothing, as if the chaos that is life itself was not enough for me. Until I learned that I was supposed to enjoy the journey. I was not lacking. I am very well going to attain that thing. Supposed to enjoy the journey. And one way that I started to enjoy the journey was to surround myself with the right people, allow myself have connections with certain people. I said to have a fuller life. Once I understood the wealth problem and I fixed it, you have a wealth problem. You are not lacking in anything. You are already as wealthy as you could ever be. So therefore, give yourself the permission to enjoy life as it is. To enjoy this level, this stage as you are. Give yourself the permission. You are already as wealthy as you could ever be. It's crazy, isn't it? You see, we are told that life is chaotic. Yeah, from the day that we were born, we were taught to expect that chaos that is life. Expect that things will not always pan out the way that you expect them to pan out. Someone is definitely going to break your heart, and that should be okay. We are conditioned to expect that disappointment. There's nothing wrong with your boss firing you. It's just something that happens in life. And growing up, our parents try as much as possible to shield us from that disappointment, from that chaos that traditionally it's life itself. They try to shield us by putting us in a way that they feel that we should go. They tell us, okay, go to school, get a degree. Once you're done with your degree, you get a job, and you get a job, you get a house, you get the wife, you have a family, and all will be okay. But is that really how it pans out for the most of us? That's not really how it works. We are taught that attaining certain things possessing certain things meant that we are wealthy and we are going to have fuller experience and it's going to make us happy. But it doesn't really pan out that way because life is chaotic. Expect that chaos. It has its trick and it has its fun and it's just typically the way that it is life. But the one thing that our parents did not do was to give us the solution to the chaos that is life itself. Rather, what they did was to offer us a template. If you go the way that I went, you will come out okay. You'll be happy. If you believe in the God that I believe in, if you worship in the church that I worshipped in, if you go to school, get that certificate, get that degree in 5 years, you'll be. They gave us a template. They gave us and they asked us to bootstrap it as a way of dealing with that chaos that is life because they are scared that we're going to make the same mistakes. The one thing that they did not do was give you the answer to the chaos that is life itself. And the answer to that chaos that is life itself is wealth. Yeah, the answer to that chaos that is life itself is actually wealth. And when I talk about wealth, I am not talking about financial success. I'm not talking about riches. I'm not talking about assets. I'm not those are largely fall under the category of riches. I am talking about wealth, the true wealth, which is the harmony in your experience, which is the ability to recognize the interconnectiveness of your experience. Do you understand how problems at work affect your family? How problems in your family bounces back to affect how you perform at work? Are you aware of that interconnectiveness in your experience? Are you aware of it? Are you aware how having a single health problem affects every other experience that you get to have in life, affects every other part of your life? Are you aware of these things? That is the wealth. That is the true definition of wealth. It is being able to sit down and find the interconnectiveness between the experiences that you're having. And it's really not about having every aspect of your life make sense or every aspect of your life existing in perfect harmony. Everything is well financially, everything is well in your relationship, everything is well in your career, in your job, in your spirit. It's really not about that. It's about this. It's about understanding that for the aspects of your life that is not really doing well, that is not meeting up with your expectation, you easily fall back to other aspects of your life that are doing well and use it as a cushion for the aspect of your life that is not performing as well as you need it to perform. What this means is that in as much as you don't have enough money in your account that you expect that you should have, in as much as you are having financial troubles here and there, you should have somebody in your life that you can talk to about other things about life. You should have a friend that you can confide in. You should have other relationships that you can fall back on temporarily till you fix that problem, till that problem eventually resolve itself. If you're having problems in your relationship, you should at least have a career that is working. Yeah, you should at least have a career that is working. You should have a purpose, something meaningful that you are working towards, that you can temporarily just use it as a way, as a soft landing to fix the problems in your life that already exist. It's really not about everything being perfect. It's about understanding how one aspect of your life can easily be affected, either positively or negatively, by another aspect of your life, but at the same time choosing to be positive, choosing to look for what is working, to fix what is not working. The mistake that I made in the past was I was largely singular, and a lot of us make that mistake. Honestly, we are largely single-minded. Because you're having financial troubles, you feel like all hell should break loose because you're not able to afford the things that you want in the moment. You feel like all hell should break loose. You deny yourself other things, other aspects of life, other pleasures of life, simply because one aspect of your life isn't working well. You're not grateful, mindful enough to recognize other aspects of your life that are seemingly working well. If you don't have money, you should at least have friends. If you ain't got friends, you should at least have money. If you've got money and friends, good for you. If you don't have a career, you should at least have a family that cares about you. If you ain't got a family that cares about you, you should at least have a career. If you ain't got career and a family that cares about you, at least you've got health. That is great too. That is okay. That is really okay. The world problem is one that is born out of a place of lack, out of a place of that impending, that brooding feeling that something is missing in your life. That feeling that is very human, by the way. But do not define yourself from that place of lack. That is not how you define your identity. That restlessness that is typically part of life, that is not how you define life. That is not how you define who you are and what you deserve. The solution to the wealth problem, the solution to the chaos that is life itself, is wealth, not riches, not being sold the next product. When you've not figured out the wealth problem for yourself, when you've not figured out that you have a wealth problem with hunger that is very human, you will be manipulated. It's that thing that happens when your influencers on social media wanting to sell you a product, a simple beauty product, but then they start to show you pictures of vacations, being happy, being in the perfect relationship, looking slim, looking joyful all the time. They simply want to sell you a $10 product. Yeah, they just want to sell you a 10, 20, $50 product, but then they create that illusion of wealth around them. They tell you that they don't need your money while still asking you for your money. It's crazy. It's really crazy, really. Think about it. It's basically just mind game. A person tells you that, I don't need your money. They come across as not needing your money while still asking you for what you have. The catch is very simple. You lose your possession for more possession because you think you are lacking of a possession. Because you are coming from a place of lack. Because you keep looking externally for the answers that you are looking for. You keep looking for something to fill you up. That which you already have is taken away from you. Even it was said in the Bible, and this is not a very Christian thing. I think someone said, it was said in the Bible. It kind of goes like this. Christ said this in the Bible. It kind of goes like this. Unto he who has, more shall be given. Unto he who has little, even the little that he has shall be taken away. Look at the society, look at what is happening on social media, and tell me that that is not true. Think about it. Unto he who has, when you feel like you have abundance in your life, when you recognize that you truly are already as wealthy as you could ever be, when you come from that place of intentionality and consciousness, that it's okay to feel empty sometimes. It's okay to identify that certain things are not going right in your life, and this is very human. You accept it. When you come from an abundance mindset, you get more abundance, you get more solutions. More will be added onto you because you have an abundance mindset. But the moment you think that there's something lacking in your life, the moment you think that something is wrong because you feel empty sometimes, because your life isn't going right, because things are not turning out the way that you expect it to turn out, the moment you feel that way, all you get is more problems. Even the possessions, even the peace of mind, even the little things that you have in your life that you typically should cherish will be taken away from you. It's just crazy. Why would an influencer that is trying to sell you a product of $20, $50 has to sell you the illusion of wealth? The answer is simple. They are aware that the solution to the chaos, they are aware that the solution to the hunger, what you truly need is wealth. What you truly crave is connection. What you truly crave is appreciation. What you truly crave is to be seen, is to be heard, is to be respected, is to be accepted. That is the things that we truly crave as human beings. Because in as much as it's a sad thing to say, you are invisible when you are poor. Yeah, in as much as it's a sad thing to say, we truly are sometimes invisible. Nobody sees us when we are poor. Nobody hears you when you are poor. Nobody sees you when you are not out there making so much noise. When you are not out there being the empty drum that is capable of making so much noise. Nobody sees you. It's just crazy. It's a fundamental flaw in the human design. I am so sorry for that. Yeah, it's a fundamental flaw, error in the human design. Empty drum seems to make the loudest noise and gain the largest attention mostly. It's just the way it works. But at the same time, you should not be coming from a place of lack. If you come from a place of lack, you will be manipulated. You will be played. It's what your realtor means. While showing you a house, they tell you that, oh, your family is gonna love it here. It's a secure neighborhood. There are fewer crimes here. The question now is this: why is a realtor who just wants to sell you a house anyway? Why is a realtor trying to sell you happiness and security when that is not their job? Yeah, why is a realtor trying to sell you happiness and security? Are they the custodian of happiness and security when it's literally not their job? They are aware that what you truly crave is not the next asset, it's not the next house. You want your family to be happy, you want your family to be safe and secure. And largely only through wealth can guarantee these things, because only wealth guarantees that you find yourself and your family in the right place, in the right location, in the midst of the right people. That is wealth actually. It is wealth that ensures that your experiences are well connected and well balanced together to create that safe haven, that sense of fulfillment and direction that guarantees your well-being. Only wealth can account for everything in your life. It's what is being said when you are able to go into that God mode and you are able to look at your life from a very high perspective and you're able to play that chess adequately. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here, and this goes here. But a lot of us do not have that time to truly cultivate that overview, that oversight, where you're able to not just live your life, but observe your own life. Not just identify what is missing, but identify what is working. We are not really taught that mostly. When you are truly as already as wealthy as you could ever be, you just have to understand that. You really have to understand that. Why do I say that you are already as wealthy as you could ever be? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You see, wealth is existential and fundamental. That is why you are already as wealthy as you could ever be. I think I'll talk about this in the second part of this podcast. Wealth is existential and fundamental. What this means is that true wealth, is the requirement for life itself, and I am not going to go beyond that. Let it be something that you get to debate with yourself, you get to ask yourself certain questions. I'm going to talk about this better in the second part of this episode. Wealth is the requirement for life itself. Know this, you are not born into wealth. Yeah, contrary to popular belief and what the society is likely trying to sell us these days. You are not born into wealth. You are born wealthy. Without wealth, you will not exist. You are not born into wealth. You are born already wealthy. Without wealth, you will not exist. Wealth is existential and fundamental. So I'm going to stop here and we are going to dive into the second part of this episode. I'm going to release the video for the second part of this episode. So the question that I would like to leave us with for this part is this: what areas of your life do you feel largely inadequate? What areas of your life are you having the wealth problem? What area of your life do you keep coming from a place of lack, from a place of loss, from a place of needing something, from a place of thinking the next product, the next thing, the next relationship is going to make you happy? What aspects of your life do you make a big issue out of because they are not working? What areas of your life do you have the wealth problem? Do you understand that you are already as wealthy as you could ever be? Do you get this saying? Unto he who has more, more shall be given, but unto he who has little, even the little that he has shall be taken away. What has been taken away from you because of your chase for possession, because of that feeling of loss that you have in your life, that feeling that is largely human? It's really okay to feel empty sometimes. It's really okay to identify that things are not really going the way that they ought to go. It's really okay to understand that you have so much potential, you have so much to give the world, give yourself, but to exist in singularity, to be a little limited sometimes, it's actually okay. It's perfectly human. Really, what areas of your life are you having a wealth problem? Let's stop here and I will see you in the next part of this episode. Bye for now.